Okay, so you're on 105. Well, I'm sorry, 108B, right?
Yes.
And I think Dr. Stein left off that Dover Acher, the Shiva Sayamim, another interpretation for the 7 days of the. Do you see that? Shehitmin men alam haba, shetiman men alam haba, that he had them taste the taste of the world to come. Is that possible?
I think it was like we left by 14 on the art scroll, and then after that it says alternative explanation. There was a 7 day delay.
Yes. What is the alternative explanation that he left off at?
For the Holy One SPV, a lot of them a long period of time to reflect on their sins.
A lot of them. Tell me again. I can't hear. A long period of time.
For them to repent.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's right before this. Okay, perfect. So, if you go right after that, yeah, exactly. So, Davar Acher, and another interpretation would be the Shiva Sayamim. What does it mean? The 7 days. Shet Imam Me'en Ilam Haba. He gave them a taste during those 7 days. He gave them a taste of the world to come. He wanted to give them like a little thing to show them what they're going to be missing out. To show them what they won't, what the good that they're not getting. They gave them a 7 day taste of take a look at this. This is what you're not getting. All right. It's talking about the generation of the flood. Now, from every animal, every kosher animal, this is Hashem telling Noach, you should take seven from each one. A man and his wife. That's the expression that the Torah uses for the animals. When it says, what do you mean? Animals have marriage? It says a man and his wife have marriage. Why does it call them man and his wife? It's trying to tell them those that were faithful. And that's the one those are the ones that are going to be saved from the flood. Yada. How does he know which animals were faithful? Come to some sort of fidelity test. Rav Chisda says, he brought them in front of the ark. Anyone that the ark let them in, it's obvious that no Avera was done with them. That was the way, that was the test. If the ark allowed them to enter, if the ark didn't let them in, it was obvious that the Avera was done with them. That's how they knew. That was the test. If they were able to get into the ark, you know what the ark did, somehow it blocked them from going in. That anyone that came on its own, that's the one that knew, that they knew that was faithful. Okay. Make from it a teva of gopher wood. I don't know what the gopher is, but art school probably doesn't either. Usually just fancy.
They agree with you.
Okay. So my gopher, what is gopher? Amar Ravada says, Amri de Beir of Shela, it said in the Yeshiva of Shela. Shela was an early Amira in Bavel before Rav. He was there when Rav arrived. Zu Mavliga. This is a type of wood called Mavliga. That they may have a translation for. Amila Gulmish. Some say that it's Gulmish, another type of wood. I don't know what type of wood it is. Okay, Tzayar Tasalatev, you should make a window. No, the word Tzayar is not necessarily a window, but it means a source of light. Amar Rabbi Yechanan, like Hashem said to Nayach, this is Rabbi Yechanan saying, put in precious stones so that it should shine. Now, usually we understand that stones shine because of the light that shines off it. But here, apparently, it's shining on its own. And it should come to an amma on the top. It should come to like a point. The bahachi kaima, that's why it will stand and it won't capsize, right? when the boat could fill with water. So if it comes to an arm on the top, the water will rush off it. Tachtim shneim u'shlishim, it should have a lower level, a middle level, and the third level. Tasa, that's how you should make it. Tana was taught in a brayse tachtim level. The lower level was made for the garbage, the waste. It means all the manure and stuff. And so the middle level was the behema, was for the animals. So yainim, and the upper level was ladam. That was for man to live. But Yishlach as a yaina, when it came time to check if the land was dry, he sent out the raven. The raven had given a strong answer to a victorious answer to Nayach when I wanted to send him out. Amalai said to him, Rabbah Seneni, your master hates me, which means Hashem. Bata Senesi, and you also hate me. Rabbah Seneni, your master hates me, Minatayrim Shiva Shiva time. First of all, he only wants to save two from the non-kosher animals. The raven's a non-kosher animal. Bata Senesani, and you hate me. Senesani, you also hate me. Shatminiach Min Shiva, you could have sent a non-kosher animal out, a non-kosher bird out to find if the land became dry. But you didn't bother doing that. You're sending from the one that only has two left. It means you're really trying to get rid of it. Let's say an accident happens. The minister of cold, minister of the sun or the heat gets to me. I mean, it's probably if I get sick out there, then the world is going to be missing one creation. See if they comment over there. Does that mean that there was only a male and a female? And if he's gone, I guess that's what it means. If he's gone, he's the male. If he's gone, then the female dies after, and then there's going to be no more ravens in the world. It must mean, or you just want to take my wife. That's why he's sending the husband away. Amalai, Russia says, you wicked one. Wow, that's quite a comment for a bird. Mutali Nesali like Kolskin. What's permissible to me, which means my own wife, I wasn't allowed to have relations with in the Teva. Now, what's forbidden to me, which means someone else's wife, you're the animal, the bird's wife. The Kolskin for sure it's prohibited to me. We know in the National. How do we know that he was prohibited to have relations in the Teva? The Teva, Basala Teva, it says you should come to the tent. Now notice over here it says come to not to the tent, come to the ark. You, your sons, your wife, and your son's wife. That's the order. Now, and then it says when it says to leaving the ark, it says you, your wife, your sons, and your son's wife. When they're leaving, the list goes man and wife. When they came in, the list was males and then females, but it had him and his sons before it had his wife. And so, in other words, now they were being paired as husband and wife when they were leaving. That meant that means in the Teva itself, they weren't allowed to have relations. And the reason must be because when the world is suffering, then you shouldn't be involved in pleasure. I wonder if the pshat is because the world is being destroyed, you shouldn't bring more people into the world. That doesn't sound like a healthy approach. It's because the world
they have many different commentaries here.
There were three that couldn't hold themselves back, and they had relations in the ark, and they were struck, they were smitten. Kalev, I'm sorry, not Kalev, Kelev, the dog, Iris, the raven, the Chum. And Chum is one of Noach's sons. Kelev, Niksha. The dog is tied up. Maybe that means that the dog is always on a leash. I don't know. It's only in the cities dogs are on leashes, but anyway. Iris is what does this mean? Right. it eats by its
they put
what do you have? What does it say?
it has like the raven spits, and that's how the raven was condemned to spit seeds from its mouth into the mouth of its mates.
Now, spit its seed, that means spit its how it procreates through its spit. It means food.
I'm not sure, Rabbi. It just says SEED. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it means both or one or the other.
What I have over here. 108.
In the case of the dog, it means both. Like they quote here the Yabrama for both.
Maybe I have it here. Raven was punished in that it spits. No commentary. That's it. Okay. I don't have anything. All right. One of those things. Cham's skin turned dark. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Skin? Didn't know that. Vayishlach Hasiyana thought it was to be able to absorb the sun better. Yishlach Hasiyana because they lived in Africa. Yishlach Hasiyana meet there's a and he sent out the dove. Now it's not the raven anymore. Now he sent out the dove to see if the water has receded. You see, interesting. Over here it says, he sent the yoina out from him. From him. That means that he had birds in his house. Does that mean that the birds were on the third level, on the upper level? The kosher birds? Interesting. In Elizai start behold, it had a olive branch in its mouth. Amar Abelazar, Amar Yoina Nekadosh Baruch Hu. Yoina, the dove says to Hashem, let that my food be as bitter as an olive in your hands. And they shouldn't be sweet like honey, but they come from man. I'd rather get my food directly, naturally, the way I'm created, that I go out and I find and I forage, rather than to get fed by Nayach. My mashma, the high teref listening was saying, how do you know that teref means food? Teref sounds like it's torn. Anyway, how do you know it means food? Feed me the bread of your statues. Okay. That's it quotes another verse where the word teref is used. Mishpei Seyim, the families, that's Minateva, they came out of the Teva, and they came out as families. Some Rabbi Yechanan, Mishpei Seyim, V'lo This seems to contradict what means. That means their families came out, but not them. I thought they didn't have any offspring. Maybe they had offspring. It says that their families came out, but not the original one. Maybe the original one, maybe they came in pregnant, because they weren't allowed to have relations in the. I don't know. I'm Rav Chana bar Bizna. Chana bar Bizna says, Amalei Elazar l'shem Rabbah. I'm sorry, not Elazar, Eliezer. This is Abram's messenger, Eliezer. He says the Shem is Noach's son, Shem Rabbah. It's the great Shem, son of Noach. It says that they came out as families from the ark. Where were you? He's asking him, this is a record of a very old conversation. Oh, it's really tough in the ark. There, there yeshidarka la'achila bayayim, achilunu bayayim. If it was a creation that we were supposed to feed by day, we had to feed it by day. Shedarka la'achila balayla, achilunu balayla, we had to feed it by night. This they did not. This was not a vacation cruise. They were feeding animals day and night. This is the crew on the cruise. Hi Zikisa, there was one animal. How do they translate it, Zikisa? Anyway, whatever it is. My father Nayach didn't know what to feed it. Yosef one day was sitting with
a small bird resembling a quail.
A quail, okay. Okay, the Kapali reminder was peeling a pomegranate. Nachal telata minei, and a worm fell out. Achla. So he sees the bird eats it. Kanvelach have a gavel echizra. He would gavel is to knead. He would knead bran. Kimatala achla. And when it would make worms, this little bird or whatever it is would eat it. Would eat those. So it's interesting that things would get wormy even in the teva. Is that interesting? I don't know if this is suggesting spontaneous generation, that it would just become wormy just because it did itself. Anyway, okay, whatever the case is. Aryeh Ishisa Zinsei. The lion was fed by its fever. Just when someone has a fever, he doesn't need to eat. Rav says, "Lebatzim Yishita, Leifemi Tracer, Zina Ishta." No less than 6, no more than 12 are fed by the fever. As a fever makes a person that he doesn't want to eat for in between 6 and 12 days. What about the rest of the time? Oh wow. Actually, has that 6 months or 12 months. Because that he doesn't seem that doesn't. Okay. Ershina is a type of bird. It has another name called hull. And this is the phoenix. It never dies, right? Ashkechine Abba, the Gani Besafned, was my father found it that it was laying on the side of the table, on the side of the ark. I'm like, the boss, you don't need to eat. I'm like, I saw you were so busy, Naya. I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, Thomas, it should be the will of Hashem that you should never die. Nemar Ba'imer Im Kani Egba V'Kachol Arba Yamim. Will lay with my nest, and like a phoenix, I will live for many days. Amar B'Chana Bar Levi, Amar Shem Rabbi Eliezer. Now it's working the opposite. Now Shem Nayach's son is now asking Eliezer, when the kings of Mizrach of the east and the west, talking about the battle that Avram had with the 4 kings. What were you doing? Eliezer, remember, was one of he brought 318 men, and that was really Eliezer. Amalei, I said, Avram, Hashem brings Avram, he puts him on his right. She didn't offer, and they were throwing dirt. And it turned into swords. Threw straw, and it turned into arrows. Sit at my right. Until I make your enemies into your footstool. That sounds like, I guess, like you press down on them. Who wakes up from the east. Righteousness he calls to his feet. Eating the fun of Goyim, puts in front of the nations and Malachim, Yered, and he rules over kings. Eating Ka'afar Charbay, Kashnid of Kashtay, he makes his dirt into swords, and like a straw, he turns into his arrow, to his bow. Nachum Ish Gamzu, Aviragil, Nachum Ish Gamzu was accustomed to call anything that happened to Mamar Gamzu Lataiva. He says this also is for the good. That's why he got the name Nachum Mishkamsu. Yom Echad, one day, during the case, Jewish people wanted to send a gift to the Caesar. Amri, they said, Man Nishtar, who should we send the gift to? Nishtar Badi Nachum Mishkamsu, the Muhammad Benisim, send him with Nachum Mishkamsu because he has a lot of miracles and it's going to be safe with him. Matalu Dura, when he came to this inn, Baila Mevas, wanted to rest. Amri, Ma'ika Bahadach, what are you carrying with you? Malay, Kamavlina Karga Kesar, bringing the tax. Karga is the head tax. I'm bringing the head tax to the king. Just the story just switched. Before it was a gift, now it's a tax. Well, okay. Kamu Balayla, they got up in the middle of the night. Sharino, the sifte, they opened up the sifte is the box, like safe. It's not the safe. The Shaklu called the Havagabe, they took everything that was in a Malnu after and they filled it with dirt. Matla Hasam, and he came there, Shtaka Khafra, found that it was dirt. Amar, did I skip something? No. The Jewish people are laughing at us. They sent us a box full of dirt. They took Nachamish Gamza out to kill him. Amar Gamza. This is also for the best. He doesn't complain. Elio comes. Elio comes and he looks like one of them ministers over there. He says to them, maybe this is the dirt of Avram Avinu. Then when they threw the dirt, turned into swords, gili, and they threw straw, Vigiri turned into arrows. They found out, they checked it, and it actually worked. There was an area, there was an area that they weren't able to overtake. They threw the dirt on it, and they got it. They went into the, they were able to capture that area. They took Nachamish Gamzu into the treasury. Take whatever you want. They filled up his chest with gold. When he came back, the people that from that inn, they told him, Malka, what did you bring to the king? Like innocently, they asked him after they almost got him killed. What I took from here, I brought there. Wow, we didn't know our dirt is so precious. They took also dirt. They brought it there. And they got killed. Okay. This is the generation of the dispersion of the people that were building the tower. They don't have a share in the world to come. Now we didn't know that they did a big sin. They just said, let's make a name for ourselves, right? Well, my Yovid, what did they do? Amri de Reb Shila, they said in the yeshiva of Reb Shila, Nivne Migdal v'nala Rakia v'nakaisa v'kadumas v'shizuva meima. Wow. They said, let's build a tower. Let's go up to the heaven. We're going to strike him with kardumas, like axes or picks or something. And so that his water should flow. Does that mean that they're going to make it rain? Does that mean that they're going to try to kill Hashem? I don't know. What do they comment over there? All right, whatever. Machkol of Marava, they were a little surprised. They laughed about this shot of Reb Shila. They laughed in the West. They said, why they building in a valley, right? It says they built the tower in a valley. Should have built it on a mountain if they're trying to get higher. Well, there were actually three different groups of people that were involved. One said, let's go up and we'll live up there. We'll live in outer space. Like we'll make our way to a new planet. We'll settle an area up there. One said, oh, we'll go up there. We'll worship idols. We'll go do battle. The one that said we'll settle there. Hashem dispersed. Nasa Kufim, wow, Kufim Ruchas B'Shedim V'Lilid. They became, they turned into monkeys and demons, and male demons and female demons.
Wow.
Nalav and Avoid, the one that says we'll go and worship idols. He Shem Balal Hashem Svaskalat, Hashem just changed all their languages. They didn't know what they were, each one was talking about. Tanya, Reb Nosson Mekum, Shem Weds come to come. No, all of them had intention to worship idols. Tzivach and Aslan Hashem. One said, let's go up and have a name. Tzivach, and over there it says Hashem Lekimachem Leisaskiru. That's the same expression when it says it's not mention the name of another god. Malahalanov, it's come just like over there. It's referring to idols when it says shame. Also over here, by the let's make ourselves a name is referring to idolatry. Rabbi Yechanan, Migdal, the tower, Shlish Nisraf, Shlish Nivba, Shlish Kayim. 1/3 got burned, 1/3 got absorbed into the ground, and 1/3 is remaining. Amara, yeah. Hello.
Yes, Rabbi.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I lost you. I lost you for a little bit.
Okay, I'm on 109. Okay. And it's Amara.
Rabbi Yochanan?
No. Oh yeah, right after Rabbi Yechanan.
Okay.
Right after Rabbi Yechanan, where it says a third.
Okay. Thank you.
Amara. What does this mean over here? Avir Nigdal Mashka. Let me see how it's
The airspace of the tower causes forgetfulness.
Yeah, interesting. I'm Rabbi Yosef, Bavel of Bursif, Siman Rala Teira. These two places are bad for studying Teira. My Bursif, what does it mean? Bursif, I'm Ravasi, Bor Shafi. It's a pit that absorbs. That means it takes away anything that you studied.
Wow.
So I thought Bavel was Talmid Chachamim. Is there a girsa that removes the word Bavel?
They have a lot, Rabbi.
Okay. Could be a different place, Bavel. Could be Bavel was a city, could be Bavel was a country. There were different places. Okay. New York. Anshe Sidaim, Inam Chilak Lelam Abba. Men of Sidaim, they don't have a portion in the world to come. Anarabanan, Anshe Sidaim, Inam Chilak Lelam Abba, started in a Braisa. They don't have a portion in the world to come. Shneim Anshe Sidaim, Rambach Hatem Lashem Maid, very evil, Hashem. Ra'im Bailam Azeh, they were wicked in this world, and they're sinners, which also means lacking in the world to come. They won't be around the world to come. Rabbi Yehuda interprets it. They were bad with their bodies. It probably means immorality in this world. And they were sinners, with their money. What does it mean they were bad with their body? It says the word, and it says ra, which means bad or evil. So that's the same expression that Yosef used when he was telling the wife of Potiphar, how could I do this big bad thing, right? And sin to my God. So you see the word bad is being used when it comes to immorality. What does it mean that they were sinned with their money? Says it'll be in you sin. This is referring to where's that passage referring to? Yeah, if you don't give them money, you don't give tzedakah. Yeah. Okay. Lashem. When it says Chatam Lashem, Zubrikas Hashem, that means they curse God. Ma'id says very much. The Miskavdim, the Chaitim, that they intended to do the sin. It wasn't just because they had big evil inclination. They actually wanted to sin. They intended to do like in spite. But there's a brisa that says exactly the opposite. that when it says the word evil, that meant with money. When it said sin, that meant with their immoral conduct. Sin with the money, that means because it says if your eye is evil eye against your friend, that means also you don't give him. So with the poor brother, what does it mean? Sin is with their body, which means immoral conduct. Back to that same pasuk with Yosef, it says that how could I do the sin to Hashem? Hashem, to Bechus Hashem. When it says very much, it's referring to murder. We had that pasuk before when discussing Menashe, that he also killed a lot of people. It says Ma'id. The reason why they became so arrogant was because of all the good that Hashem did for them. Maksiv, and what does it say about them? Eretz Mena, Yetzilech Metakta Nefach K'may Eish, Makim Saper V'Avonim Afrezav, like Tiv Yadu Ayat, Shazaftu Ayin, Ayeh Le'Yadrichu B'nei Shachas, Eda Allah Tachal. Okay, this is saying that there's a land. Yeah, the pasuk says like this. As for the earth, it comes out of its bread, and underneath it turned up as fire, and stones are the place of sapphires, as dust of gold. The path no bird of prey knows, neither has the falcons. I see it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the lion passed it by. Okay. This is referring to all the wealth of Sidon. Now it says, okay. Amru, they said like this. This is what they claim on. Because we have everything good here. We don't need any travelers to come here and take away what we have. Why are they coming here? Because they want to take what we have. So, and we're selfish, we want to keep it for ourselves. Let's get rid of all travelers. They put a border control. Nemar paratz nachal meir gar hanishkafim in Yirogel, dalome eretz na'u. They'll move away men from, they'll cease men that travel from there. Okay. Dora Shrava Maidatziv Adana to Haiso Alish Ratzko Kokum here not the other. What does it mean? How long will you sneak up on men? I'm sorry, not sneak up. Until when the Haisisu will you destroy men? You will murder along a wall that's bent and a fence that's pushed over. Malame, this teaches us they would put their eyes on people that were wealthy. And then they would go stand them next to a wall that's falling. And then they would push the wall on him. And then they would take his money. There's got to be easier ways of doing that, but that's the way they did it. It says in the dark, this is Rava teaching, in the dark they would dig tunnels into houses. And by day they would hide. They didn't see any light. What is this telling us? This teaches us what they would do is they would give the wealthy person, they would give him a parsimon, which means balsam, the nice smelling oil. And the person would take care of it, so he would put it in his treasury. And at night they would come, they would smell where it was because this was like it had like a tracer. They could see where he kept all his wealth because he would keep it in his treasury, and then he could track it. They would come and smell it like a dog. They returned at night and they would howl like a dog. They save ear and go around the city. And then they would go and steal the money. Another verse says they lie at night naked. They have no clothing and they have no covering in the cold. Another pasuk, Hamar Yisraimim Yinhagu Yichablu Shar Almana. They would drive away the donkey of the orphans. They would take the widow's ox as a pledge, like a collateral. They would go over the border and they would steal flocks and then they would graze them. And for he is brought to the grave and he watches over a gadish, which is like a grain pile. How did they steal in Sedayim? Because 300 tunnels. Oh, no, this is what it is. He taught, Rabbi Yossi taught how the people of Sedayim would steal. That night, all the people that came to the shir were stealing from other people. They learned all these nice methods how to steal. Then the people came and they said, "Why did you teach that?" You taught. You basically made a book of 300 ways to steal. I didn't know that the Ganafim were going to come to my lectures. Nevertheless, Rabbi Yossi passed away. The gutters of Tzipori were flowing with blood. Now, what does that mean? Maybe they didn't want to bury him. And then this was like to encourage them to bury him. Okay. Amri, Dislechad Tara Mari Chad Yaima, Blesley, very Trey Yaima. So the way they would do this is that people would watch the animals of the city. So if you had one ox, then you had to watch one day. If you didn't have any ox, then you had to watch 2 days, which is crazy, right? Why should you have to watch this? There was one orphan, and he had to watch. So they gave him the oxen, and he had to watch one day. He killed all the oxen. He killed everything. And then he told the people,
Rabbi,
yeah.
sorry, I just found it mentions here that the rivers were flowing with blood, because like that town felt the pain of his passing more than anyone else since he lived there.
Uh-huh.
That's what it says.
So it's in contrast to what just happened, where the people were upset with him. Nevertheless, they still felt the pain. Right?
Well, that's one, and then there's like 3 other ones.
Okay.
It also quotes later on the Jerusalem of Avodah Zarah also.
Okay. Then this child says, anyone that he's trying to teach them that their logic is ridiculous. He says, anyone that has one ox, you could come take the hide from one of the animals. If you don't have an ox, then take the hide of 2 animals. Because if you don't have, then you can take more. And that's what they were saying. If you don't have, then you work more. So, Amalei, my highest, what's going on? The ultimate is going to be exactly like the beginning. Like he outsmarted them. Then they said the Aber Marva Nesuk Chadzuz, anyone that goes over the bridge or a ferry, whatever it is some crossing, has to give one zuz. Lay Aber Marva Nesuk Trey. If he doesn't go over the bridge, no, maybe swims, he walks around, then he has to pay twice. The Havale Tura Dara Delivni. What does that mean? He has an ox. Oh no, that's not an ox. That's a wall of bricks. Havale Tura Dara Delivni. If he has a wall of bricks. Each person would come and take away one brick, and it's very hard to track that. It's like taking a penny from every person. So Amalei, I only took one. Davishadi Tume Shamke, when they would planting, they would throw garlic or onions to dry. So Asukal Chad V'Chad Shakal Chad, every people would just come and take one. Amalei, Anachada the Shakali. This is I only took one. What do you want? Okay. Abba Dayani Haya B'Sidaim. There were 4 judges in Sidaim. Shakrai, Vishakrure, Zaifi, and Mitzalidina. There was Shakrai, that means he was a liar. Shakrure means he's a habitual liar. Zaife, he's a forger. Maslidina is he would corrupt the just. Machali Yitzay the Chavri Machale. Someone hit the wife of another person and caused her to have a miscarriage. So Amrile, they would say to the person, Gavanale denabra nala. Make her pregnant. So that you can to give back what she lost. Possibly Yudne the Chamna the Chavre, if someone cut off the ear, someone else's donkey, Amrile, Gavanale nale ad the Kadcha says they would give the donkey to the one that cut it off until it would grow back. If someone would if someone would wound this friend, and say give him money because he did bloodletting. Someone crossed the river would give 4 dinar, 4 zuz. You have time to but one who went in the water would have to give, one that swam across would have to give 8. One time there was a launderer that came. Amalei Havar Bazuzi says give 4. Amalei Anabamaya says don't worry, I'll swim. Amalei and can't have Tamnaya. You have to pay 8 because he went through the water. But he didn't pay. Well, but they hit him. Also Kami the Diana, they came in front of the judge. Amalei Habli Agud the Shakal Tama. Tamnaya says you have to give him you have to give payment first of all because they let your blood when they hit you. And also you have to give 8 zuz because you went through the water. Okay, Eliezer but Abraham is trying to Hassam. Eliezer is Abraham's servant, he was there, but Yui. They hit him. Asalakami Dayan, he came to the judge. Said you have to pay because they let your blood. Shakal Galali took some dirt, or a stone. Padui Iyu Ladayana, and he struck the judge. Amar Mahai said, what are you doing? Amalei Agud Dinafik Minach have na leilahai. Vizuzi didik the kaima. It says the fee that you're supposed to give me, you could just give to the person that hit me, and I'll keep my money. Have a little priyasa davi magla orchin. There was an inn. Priyasa is not in. There's a bed. So we put the guest. Imarich, if the guest was tall, geiselay, then they would cut off his feet. Goods, if he was short, masculine, they would stretch him. Eliezer came there. Amalei, come lay down. Have a bed for you. Amalei nijadari. I made a vow that I don't sleep on the bed. Since my mother passed away, I don't sleep on the bed. Okay. Let's go a little further. Anya, when a poor person would come, Everyone would give him a coin. Wow. And then they would write their name on it. But they wouldn't give him any bread. When the person would die, everyone would come and take their money back. Yeah, you follow? This is what they stipulated amongst themselves. Come on, the Mazmin Gavra Lebehilula, anyone that invites someone else to a wedding, Shalach Glima, they'll take off his clothing. They'll take his they'll take his cloak. There was one wedding that Eliezer Eliezer came. They didn't give him bread. When it came to eating, he sat down at the end of the table. Who invited you? You invited me. He says, oh no. If they hear that I invited you, they're going to take my clothing. Shakal glima. So I think I'm supposed to skip those brackets. They took the clothing of that person. Ran outside. Basically, everyone ran out because he was kept accusing the next person of who invited him, and then and he was able to eat the whole meal. There was a young woman, a young girl that would take bread to poor people, and she would bring it in a pitcher. The people wouldn't see. But the people found out. Shafua dubsha. They smeared her with honey. They put her on top of a wall. The bees came and ate her. Cry of Sodom in Amira is very great. It's very great. There's another word for another translation. Rabba or Riva. Riva means a young woman because of her kindness. That's how. Okay. Okay, let's leave it over here. We're up to Meraglim. Now, let's see. I think it would be better if we get someone to give the share in the morning.
Tomorrow, Marcos?
Yeah, well, tomorrow we should start Marcus, but I think someone should teach it. I think there'll be more people if it's taught. Yeah.
Maybe Dr. Stein.
Yeah, I'm afraid to ask him though. It's like too much work for him. Maybe Maisha. I'll ask on the chat if any volunteers.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Slaha.
Yeah, Slaha. Yeah, all the best.
Thank you, all the best.